Welcome to the PixelBlips Podcast for October 28th, 2012. I'm Andy Ryan, reminding you, if you're going to Silent Hill, don't use Apple Maps. Next to me is the man whose face is so scary, Freddy Krueger just as was as him for Halloween, Dave DeWert. Dave, what are you playing this week?
Not much new. Mostly still just trying to plug away at Darksiders 2. And the missus wants to play some Diablo 3 since we've been off since Thursday, so we're doing that a little bit. So that's pretty much it. So.
Hand-holding. Couple that plays together stays together.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, when we're both melee, we're always close together anyway, so.
That makes me sad.
What?
I'm deeply sad.
Well, you know, it's fine. She has fun with it, and if I can get her to game with me, that's awesome. So.
I understand.
So, what have you been doing?
I've actually been playing a lot this week. My wife has been going through a couple paper writings, so I've had a lot of time.
You gotta leave her the hell alone to
yes,
get this stuff done.
Yes, stay away from the computer at all times. So Monday night, during the presidential debate, I watched that on one screen and played, I think it's called Blood Rain Betrayal.
Oh, okay.
It's by WayForward. Once again, can we just talk about how awesome WayForward is? It's a very, it's not a great game. I would say it's firmly in good territory.
Okay.
It's a 2D side scroller. It reminds me a lot of Rondo of Blood, Castlevania X, where like the levels are kind of linked together, but kind of not.
A little bit, but not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's definitely super fun, and I spent an entire night playing it. So.
Is that similar? Is that the same game, or is that similar to the one that was given out on the PSN a couple of months ago?
Same game.
Okay, so same.
I believe same game.
So you can play it on the Vita as well, or is it?
No.
Okay.
I was on TV.
Okay.
Picture in picture.
Oh, okay. So you had Pip going and.
Yeah, I had half the screen was presidential debate with the audio, and the other half of the screen was killing vampires.
Oh well, you know, can you really?
Mitt
tell the
Romney
difference?
guest starred in both. Oh, people
Okay.
love it when you're political. Anyway, let's see, what else did I play? I've been playing a lot of Zen Pinball because I told you I bought that Zen Pinball pack.
So you got all kinds of new tables to check out.
Yes. So one of the things I love about Zen Pinball is that when you load it up, it logs into the network and then shows you like what tables you have the high score on. And I'm always like, I don't have the high score on that anymore. Click.
So then
and
you're gonna
play.
sit there and grind out a couple of dozen games to get it to work.
Yeah. So it's good. It's fun. It's easy. I've also been playing a lot of House of the Dead.
Well, yeah, because
the PSN versions.
It's October.
Yes, it's October. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I've been playing. I haven't been playing a lot. Frobisher Says, I'm just going to throw this out there. Frobisher Says is a micro game collection for the PlayStation Vita. Totally free. Just released this last week. There will be a paid add-on pack coming at some point in the future.
Is it kind of like WarioWare? Where
it is almost exactly like WarioWare.
Okay, so it's
like
just a bunch of random ass stuff, and then he's like, "Hey, do this." And
yes.
you have to do this.
And it uses all the functionality of the Vita really well.
The back touch, the front
touch, the cameras.
Cool.
I was in Planet Sub waiting for my wife to come meet me, and I was just wasting time. And I'm sitting there playing it, and it comes up with a mini game that just says, "Find something green."
Oh, really?
And
That's
so
cool.
the camera pops up, and you have to aim it at something green. So I'm running around like finding a green floor tile, looking like an idiot. But
that's kind of the point.
Since it's free, it is very hard not to recommend.
Huh.
If you want a micro game collection like WarioWare, this one's free, and it's there.
That's cool. I mean, and then stuff like that needs to come out on the Vita, right? Because
yes.
the Vita needs all the help it can get right now.
Yeah, Vita needs. Vita has games. This is the one thing I always feel bad about is that people say Vita has no games, and then I'm like, no, it really has a lot. But then you go to GameStop or Best Buy or Target or wherever,
find them,
and they have like 8 titles, and it's like, that's true. The Vita doesn't have a lot of retail
It doesn't
games.
have retail games.
Yes, but on the PSN, there's a lot of stuff there.
Well, yeah, and a lot of what you
and this
buy,
one is free. Free.
And a lot of what you get for the Vita is also cross-buys, so you're getting it for your PS3 as well.
Yes.
So, you know, it has the games, but you're getting it twice if you buy it online.
Yes. So,
also,
happy belated 4th anniversary to my wife. We've been married 4 years.
Couple days off.
Couple days. For our 4th anniversary, she got me something very special. She got me a copy of Lunar 2 Eternal Blue complete. This is just the discs. I'm piecemealing together the full set through eBay right now.
It doesn't have the art book and the
It doesn't have the
box.
art book. It doesn't have the soundtrack. It doesn't have the Amaki box.
Aw, man.
But this game, just these discs, is amazing. So highly recommend Lunar 2 Eternal Blue complete. I played it a bunch last night. It's hard because I've been trying to find large chunks of time to sink into it.
Yeah.
And I just haven't had a day off yet with it. So I'm sure tomorrow or Tuesday, when I have my time off, I will be sinking a lot of time into Lunar 2, Eternal Blue. At the moment, I'm liking the beginning of the game more than Lunar.
The original?
More than Silver Star Story. I've never gotten to play Eternal Blue. I never got to have it on my Sega CD. I never got to have it on the PS1, but I have it now.
You have it now.
So.
Did you ever play it on? Did they ever release it for the PSP or the
No,
GBA or
Xseed and Game Arts never did a new version of Eternal Blue.
Oh.
And
they released the first Lunar like 8 times.
Yes. So, and the thought behind that is, Eternal Blue never sold as well as Lunar 1. So, but that's kind of like understandable. It's a sequel, and it always has come at the end of something's life cycle. Like, so the Sega CD version came at the end of the Sega CD, and the PlayStation 1 complete version came in 2000 or 2001.
Close to the end of the PS1 cycle.
Yeah, by that time the PS1 was circling the drain. But once again, happy anniversary to my wife, and thank you for the wonderful gift.
All right.
So it's October.
Really?
Yes. I think we're actually
the end of October, actually.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to call it Rocktober, but
Beertober?
Beertober. It is October, and we've been kicking around for a long time. Games that are fun to play in October.
I mean, all games are fun to play most of the time.
Yes, but we're talking like the games that are like the crux between like a fall title and a Halloween title.
Yeah.
And so one of my favorite ones that's come out recently is Costume Quest.
Came out a few years ago.
Yes, by Double Fine.
Yes.
Everyone loves Double Fine.
Double Fine games.
Mr. Tim Schafer.
Freaking awesome.
Costume Quest. It's not scary at
No.
all.
Well, I mean, the whole premise behind it is you're trick-or-treating with your twin sibling, and your sibling gets kidnapped, and it's all real cartoony looking, and
it really takes me back and reminds me of like when we were kids. They had like the Halloween that almost wasn't, and like the Ghostbuster Halloween special, and all these Halloween specials that were fun for kids, and they all center around trick-or-treating. Yeah. And this game has made a game mechanic out of trick-or-treating, which is super
That's
fun.
the XP mechanic, right? The more candy you get, the more XP you get?
Or
is that a different...
Yeah,
there's all kinds of different mechanics.
Kind of.
I just kind of looked at it. I haven't really played
but
it.
But it's super fun. I highly recommend you play it. The really cool thing about it is it's an RPG light, and how it handles classes are your costume is your class.
Yeah, so you're... One of the main characters is like a little blue robot. So when he goes into battle, he turns into like a giant
mecha,
Gundam-esque robot. And there's a kid you meet who's dressed up like a knight, and he shows up as a knight.
And there's like a cat, and there's a pumpkin, which I love the pumpkin design, because the pumpkin, the kid is just wearing like a pumpkin trash bag. Yeah. Like all the how you build the classes, how you get the classes is you find the blueprints for the class, and then you find the stuff to make it. Yeah. And the pumpkin one is just like a trash bag full of leaves. But in the actual
he looks like
thing,
Skellington.
No,
he's all orange.
No, in the actual the battle mechanic, you're a giant pumpkin that's like living on these giant weed tentacles. Oh, okay. And it looks like an awesome version of the Great Pumpkin, and I just love it. Oh, okay. And I love the whole game. I love how it reminds me how fun it was to trick or treat, and it takes me back to that time. And it's super cheap on the PSN right now. I think you can get it and its add-on pack, which is a Christmas extra bonus level, which I haven't played ever. But I think you can get it all for $10 right now, and I highly recommend it if you have a PS3.
Yeah, and it's also on Xbox Live.
It's on Xbox Live, Steam.
Yep. And I'm assuming it's probably going to come out on iOS at some point. But
yeah, is it on Game for Windows Live?
Whatever. It's on Steam, so you can still get it on your PC if you want.
But I highly recommend it. It's not a scary game, but it does take you back and put you into that October frame of mind.
Yeah. Okay, so my first game is Doom 3. I know this game came out like 2003.
But we just had a new edition of it.
But yeah, BFG just came out on the PSN.
What's that stand for? The biofeedback gun?
Big freaking gun, something like that. It just came out on the PS3 and the Xbox Live. It was on Steam for like 2 days, and then they took it down and replaced it with the original Doom, and then they took that down, I think. I don't know. It's weird. It's coming back to the PC at some point. But, you know, the thing with Doom 3 when it first came out was it was such a giant leap forward for, you know, shader models and things like that. Like, it was a technological leap.
I remember the flashlight shadows.
Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah. Like, they come out with engines much like, you know, Epic. They come out with engines and then everybody licenses it, except Epic's just way They're way more popular than id.
They didn't used to be though.
No, it used to be the other way around.
Yeah.
But the thing with Doom 3 was if you play it without any mods or anything, it was scary. Because you would be walking down a dark hallway, you wouldn't be able to see anything unless you had your flashlight out, and you can only have the flashlight or a gun. You couldn't have both. There is a duct tape mod. I think that's in BFG edition, so you can have both. But I played the original, Doom 3 Vanilla, whatever you want to call it, and it just scared the crap out of me. It was a scary
Back
game.
when it first came out, Dave wanted me to play it, and I started playing it, and I couldn't see anything because it was so dark in the game, and his bedroom was so bright.
Yeah.
So he starts like duct taping blankets and pillows to the windows, and it was just...
It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not a game that you play during the middle of the day in a bright room. Now, if you have a basement and you have your PC set up down there, great. That's the place to play it. Or, when you're by yourself at night, put some headphones on, crank it all the way up, and just ignore everybody else because it will scare the crap out of you. Or at least it would have in 2000.
Yeah, we don't know how well it holds up now because we played it back then.
Because I haven't played it in a while.
It's kind of like I used to say Half-Life was a very scary game, but then the other day I played it on my Dreamcast and it's not scary anymore to me.
Well, no. But that's because we've gotten used to,
where the monster closets are and stuff like that. So I don't know how well it would hold up today because we've kind of moved away from that infinitely respawning bad guy monster closet.
Yeah.
But on that note, infinitely spawning bad guys are the best thing about House of the Dead.
Oh yes, and specifically, I think we were both talking House of the Dead Overkill.
Yes.
It's on the Wii, which is a really surprising title for the Wii because it's super vulgar.
When I had a Wii, I only bought 3 or 4 titles for my Wii, and this was one of them.
And I played it at your house, and I'm like, damn, this would look so great on the PS3. And then
a
couple
flash
of years
forward,
later,
2 years later, Sega's like, we spent a lot of money building that game and no one bought it on the Wii. Let's put it on the PS3 and see people buy it.
It was one of those games that I bought because I had a Move, and it's like, hey, Move game or PS3 now have a light gun essentially, and it worked fairly well.
I think since I've just recently gotten it for the PS3, I went back and played the Wii version, and that 1-to-1 comparison of the Wii Wiimote and the PlayStation Move controller. PlayStation Move controller wins hands down.
Well, yeah.
It's much more. It's much easier to pull off headshots. I don't know if it's something in the processing between the two systems that the refresh rate for where that wavy dongle reticle is just faster and more responsive. But if you're going to get this game, get it on the PS3 if you can.
Yeah.
It's much better. And if you can't get it on the PS3, dust your Wii off. You can probably find it for $10.
Yeah. Use your Wii for once.
Yeah.
You may need, it's more fun.
Big
when you
warning
have the
about
gun
language.
Oh yeah.
There are more F-bombs dropped in this game than in all seasons of South Park.
Well, it's because most of the time they're edited in South Park.
Yeah. Well.
But it's a grindhouse House of the Dead game, and it is to a T.
Yeah, it is big, stupid fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
they have little cut scenes, and then they have the guy that comes in with the real deep and low voice.
My favorite part is eventually there's a character with glasses, and this evil villain slaps the glasses off the guy's face, and there's a shot of the glasses falling and then skittering, and then in the next camera cut, in the next scene when the guy's talking to the dude, the guy has his glasses back on.
Yeah.
And occasionally you can see a mic.
Michael just
fall in a little bit and then go back out.
Game, and they just did it because that was the way they wanted to do the movie, and it's really great. And it even has the film, the wearing and the film grain.
One of my favorite things about the game, from a gameplay standpoint, is that it has this thing, the combo system.
Yeah.
Where every 5 shots, if you don't miss a zombie and you get 5 shots, it goes to
it goes
hardcore violence, extreme violence.
Yeah, and it just keeps cranking it up.
And then eventually it just yells, Gorgasm.
Yeah.
And the screen kind of shakes and you get a big bonus multiplier.
Kinds of weird shit. It's a really good game.
It is fun. And the team at Sega that made it needs to be patted on the back.
Yeah.
Because I have the other 2 House of the Dead games that are for the PS3.
Is it 2 and 3?
It's 3 and 4.
Okay.
And I just beat 3. I'm halfway through 4, and I got tired of it and started playing Overkill. Overkill is so much better.
Well, yeah, and it's just so much more fun. House of the Dead 2 and 3, and 4 they're good games, but they're just so serious. They're serious horror games.
To a fault.
Yeah, and then House of the Dead Overkill,
just
depending on the level, You have like these over-the-top, I don't care, I just want to kill me some zombie characters,
Yes.
or they're out for vengeance or something, and it's
Mutants out for vengeance.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just so much fun, and even my wife, who doesn't like, she likes those kind of games, like that's about the only thing we would play at Dave and Buster's or whatever. She just was like, let's play through this game, and we sat through and did all the missions that we had available the first night, and then we went through and did it a couple more times, but then you don't really unlock a lot more.
Yeah, the one thing I do have to say...
It's a good $10 game, not a good like $20 or $30 game.
House of the Dead Overkill has a wonderful 3-hour attention
3 or 4
span,
hours,
great gameplay, but you're not going to keep coming back to it. Like you were going to dust this game off every October and play it,
and burn through it in an evening and call it a night.
It's a lot like the Grindhouse movies of old, where you were not going to watch it every day.
No, you're not. You're not going to crank it. You're not going to have. I guess you could have Grindhouse Saturdays, but you don't.
But did you ever play the director's cut?
I think that is the PS3 version.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
In comparing my Wii version and my PS3 version, I realized because when you play through the game once, you unlock director's cut mode.
Oh,
and
okay.
director's cut mode, the levels are longer, the zombies are harder to kill, and there's more of them.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And
it's like New Game Plus, basically.
Yes, New Game Plus, and you're going through the same level layouts, but instead of going in the front door, you go around the side of the house.
So they have different paths and things.
Yeah,
like that.
you eventually cover all the normal stuff, and a few extra rooms.
Okay.
So it's different enough, but you probably aren't going.
After the second or third time, you're done.
Yeah, you're probably not going to go I just beat House of the Dead Overkill. I want to play it again right now.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely a game for October.
It's a good it's a good party game also. Like if you have friends who are into shooting zombies.
Just make sure there's no kids around.
Yeah, because there's lots of F-bombs and there's at least one scene where it runs through a strip club.
Yes. And then
the boss of that level is 2 really mutated out strippers.
The final boss in the game is
something.
If you've gotten to the end of that game, you're chuckling to yourself right now.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous.
So, Dave, next one for you?
Well, you and I both kind of like the Silent Hill series, right?
I do. I'm a big fan of Silent Hill. I'm going to go see the new 3D movie when I have some time off.
I've heard it is not that good.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've heard
here's the thing.
It's great or it's bad. It depends on the person.
Here's the thing. Silent Hill, the first movie was good, mediocre to good. Mm-hmm. And, we all know the rule of diminishing sequel returns for horror movies.
Especially for video game movies.
Yeah. So my expectations are, if it is watchable at all, it succeeds.
It's worth the $8.
If it is not just a blank screen,
for an hour and a half.
I'm good.
Yeah. Well, and Silent Hill the games, the entire series has always been really good.
Yes.
It's always been really creepy. They've always had some really good puzzle mechanics.
Side note, the ones that are not really, really good are the portable versions.
Yeah, the PSP and Vita.
So Silent Hill Book of Memories is nothing like the other Silent Hills. Silent Hill Origins is only good because it's a portable kind of version of Silent Hill. And Silent Hill Shattered Memories on both the Wii and the PSP, it's not good.
Okay, bad times.
Yeah.
But so what they've always done, at least with the initial couple, was
4.
Yeah. I mean the PS1 and the PS2 version. Is they would use the...
So the first 4.
Okay, whatever. They would use the technical limitations of the platform that they were on to actually enhance the game experience.
Mm-hmm.
You can only see so far because you can only draw so far. So they actually worked the fog as part of the storyline instead of just, okay, you can't see past 30 feet out because the PS3 or PS1 can't render that much.
That's the one thing I've always really liked about Silent Hill is that even there's 2 worlds. There's Silent Hill and then there's the other world. And the other world is very scary all the time.
Yeah.
Fire and horrible machinery.
If
you told me that was what hell actually looked like, I would be like, yeah, probably you're right.
It's not.
But even Silent Hill, the normal world, is still very creepy and off-putting and deserted. And that's why Silent Hill 3 is my favorite, because your main protagonist in Silent Hill 3 is the schoolgirl, Heather Mason.
Something like that.
I think her name is Heather Mason. And she's alone. And it's that very alone feeling.
Yeah.
And she's defenseless.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's just...
And the creature designs in Silent Hill are the best.
Crazy.
Those nurses.
Yeah. Well, one of my wife's friends actually went, her and her fiance went as Pyramid Head and one of the nurse dolls, which was they did a really
Pyramid Head guy must be ripped.
I guess I don't know. I've never met him, but
It was shirtless all night,
Yeah, and cold.
Yes.
So it's a great game series. If you want to be creeped out, go play like Silent Hill 3 or 4.
If you have a PS3, we do highly recommend that you pick up the Silent Hill Anthology.
Is it all the games?
It is 2 and 3, so it is the 2 best games.
Has any plans for 5 to come out? Probably not this gen now.
The inner workings of Silent Hill, they've stopped numbering them because the team that was Team Silent has pretty much broken up.
Oh, okay.
That they're not going to come back.
So they're just using the name to make new games.
Yeah, so that's why we have like Silent Hill Downpour and Silent Hill. What's the one before Downpour?
I have no idea. Anyway.
Homecoming.
Yeah.
Homecoming was good. I liked Homecoming.
Okay.
I've been told I would like Downpour, but I haven't played it.
Okay.
So on the term, while we're on this kick of really creepy, off-putting games, Siren Hill, not Siren Hill.
Not Silent Hill.
Siren Blood
Siren.
Curse
Yeah.
on the PS3 is a remake of Siren for the PS2, but different. Because the original Siren for the PS2, you weren't, it takes place in a Japanese village that has had a calamity befall it.
Something.
Yeah, it's actually a rock slide, a mudslide.
Type thing. Okay.
A quick Japanese history lesson. Post-war, a lot of the buildings were not made really well.
No.
So in the 50s, 60s, and into the 70s, earthquakes would just decimate everything.
Okay.
And even last year with the earthquake, a lot of the buildings were the same way. They were built really quickly, so they weren't built really well.
Yeah.
So this village has been destroyed by a mudslide. And in Siren Hill Blood Curse for the PS3, which is an episodic game, Siren Blood Curse. I keep calling it Siren
You
Hill.
kind of call it Siren Hill again.
Yeah, sorry.
Siren Blood Curse.
Yes,
Yeah.
Siren Blood Curse for the PS3. You play an American cable show producing group.
We sneak into this area.
They sneak into the area because they hear about devil worship and stuff,
Yeah,
and it's like a ghost hunters type show.
Yeah.
And they witness a human sacrifice, and they all freak out and split up. Mm-hmm. And the game's episodic. So every episode, you're a different person at a different time over the next 48 hours trying to maneuver the village in Siren and trying to get out.
Okay.
And one of the people that's missing is a little girl. So like we talked in Silent Hill 3, in Siren Blood Curse, there are, episodes, we'll call them episodes, where you're a little girl and stealth is your only option.
Because you
and
can't
it is
fight.
so tense.
Oh, yeah. Just watching the videos, it's like, the one I saw, there was, a guy who was trying to escape the cop. This is the second.
That's the first episode.
Yeah, first or second episode. And you wind up getting into this abandoned house and having to
and
hide in a closet.
And you're looking
for
at the
5
slats.
minutes.
Yeah.
And you
And
wait
it
for
is
him to walk away, and it
tense.
gives you a split screen of what you can see
Yes,
and what he can see.
That's the Vision Jack.
Yeah.
Siren's always been about the Vision Jack, and it's basically your characters, certain characters are telepathically linked to the dead people in this village. So they can see whatever the dead people see, which makes the sneaking aspect easier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it really makes it tense. Because if you're hiding, in a wardrobe, in that scene, they're looking at you. And they're right here looking at you, and you can see their vision looking at you, and it's really tense and good. Yeah. And it does this really cool film filter overlay where everything starts to oversaturate a little bit on the edges.
Yeah.
It's good. The one downside, it is very hard.
Very difficult.
Yeah, the farthest I've ever gotten in it is I think I got to the 7th episode, and just got to a brick wall. I could not get around it. So.
Yeah.
But a very good game. Still pretty expensive on the PlayStation Network, but it is the only place you can get it.
Yeah, it's got that exclusivity thing.
Yeah, and it's good. And if you've burned through the Silent Hill games and you like the Silent Hill games and you want something like that, go for Siren Blood Curse. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the next game that I would play specifically would be Killing Floor. It's a 6-person co-op survival game.
Fighting against zombies?
Against zombies.
Like Left 4 Dead?
Similar.
This is the moment in which I do want to say...
Left 4 Dead has missions. This just says, okay, you have 4 rounds to survive, and you have X number of zombies coming after you.
So like Call of Duty zombies?
Yeah, I guess. I've never played the COD horde mode type things. But yeah, I guess it's horde mode with zombies. It's really fun though, and they do not a lot of it. They have a couple of interesting mechanics where you can you lock yourself in a room and you weld the doors shut, so you can kind of control where they come, where the zombies come from. But they'll still just bust up through the floors and down through the ceilings and come and get you. And it's a lot of fun, but you really kind of want to have 4 or 5 people that you want to play with. You don't want to play with a bunch of random people because they might just screw you and lock you in a room and you can't get to the vendor the next round because you got hosed. But it's a lot of fun. I think it's on Steam. They probably have it on sale or have had it on sale recently. I think I got it for $10 last year. They also do seasonal stuff. So around Christmas time, they do a Undead Wonderland where you're fighting zombie elves and Santa Clauses and things like that. And it's really goofy, but it's also a lot of fun. And it's really at times it can be really dark. One of the levels that I like to play was you're on a farm and you have to run through fields of zombies and you don't know where they are because you can't see them. So you just have to follow the thing to the next storefront. So it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I played probably 15, 20 hours of it over the past couple of weeks.
Interesting.
So it's hard though. It's pretty tense at points because you're I don't know if I'm going to survive. I ran out of ammo. Crap. So.
Well, as you're talking about the field thing, it sparks something in my memory. A game I would suggest if you have a PS2 is The Thing.
The Thing, okay.
Which was a spiritual sequel, a sequel really to John Carpenter's The Thing, the old movie. And this game did 2 things really well. One, you're in an Antarctic research base, so when you go outside, it's very easy to get lost. You're really looking for the little light sticks that they use in real life to guide people through storms and around. And you don't really know who's been infected by the virus that changes you into the alien that is going to kill everybody.
Oh, all right.
So it's kind of a squad-based shooter, but you have to balance making sure all your guys are nice and sane and calm and together, with also one of them might be the Thing.
Yeah.
And coming to
know
kill
who
you.
It is.
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's good. If you have a PS2, it's super cheap. It came out early in the PS2's life cycle, so it's not going to blow you away graphically, but the story is well written. The mechanics are good. I'm not sure how they're going to hold up now, almost 10 years later.
Yeah.
But it's worth a play. You should definitely check it out. Oh, you're out?
We've pretty much covered the games that I would talk about.
Oh, Dave's done with October.
I am done with October.
Done with October.
Now onward to the new big releases that are coming out next week and in November.
Well, not yet. I do want to do one thing. We always want to mention the commenters. If you want to get a hold of us, if you want to be part of the show, please comment down in the YouTube comments or hit us up on Twitter at PixelBlips.
Also we have a Facebook friend page.
Yeah, and we have a Gmail.
Page, and we have a Gmail.
So one thing, a couple weeks ago, we did our Is Survival Horror Dead show. Some people were upset that we didn't mention WiiU. And we didn't mention.
It's not out yet.
Yeah, we didn't mention WiiU because 1, it's not out yet. 2, we've never played it. 3, there's one thing I want to talk about WiiU that I think WiiU does really well, and that's when you're digging around in your backpack, looking for stuff, you can still get attacked.
Yeah, it doesn't pause the game from what we understand. It just
you're just
it's like
sitting
you're
there
digging
looking
around in your backpack.
Yep.
Speaking of the WiiU, I played with one of the test units.
Yeah.
The controller is huge.
Yes, I've touched
Holy
it.
Crap.
I was amazed. I was like, it seemed to really. I don't know if the videos of Steven Totillo and Jeff Gertzman
They just have huge hands.
Have huge hands or what? But this thing's
pretty monstrous.
I mean, it's almost like remember those desks they used to give us where you're laying in bed and they're gonna, you could put your book up on it and a drink. It's almost like one of those.
Yeah, it's
this is definitely something that's supposed to sit in your lap.
Yeah, it's pretty huge, and I couldn't figure out because I was at a GameStop, so I don't know if they had it disabled, but I couldn't figure out how to make the stuff on the screen come down to the controller. I was trying to show that to my wife. I was because they had the only playable game was the Rayman.
Yeah, Rayman Legends, which is the one
that you could get on every other system.
Yeah, if you were going to if you're going to do a demo kiosk for a new system, the Rayman game that I'm probably already interested in buying is not the one to show me.
No.
Show me the new Super Mario Brothers WiiU, show me ZombiU, show me something else.
Show us something that is not available on the other systems.
Yes.
Something that we can already pick up on the Xbox or whatever.
Yeah,
the PS3.
but for Rayman Legends, which you can't get on other systems, you can get Rayman Origins.
Yeah.
But the demo thing was you had to hit the drum beats. Did you use that? Did you get to that part?
No, I only played the one level, and it was Black Betty when you were running through. Yeah.
And you have to on the bottom screen you have to dum 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 dum.
Oh no, it didn't. It never changed the bottom screen. It was always just you just run and you have to catch all the things, and then when you jumped on stuff, it would hit the notes in the song, which was that was really fun. I had a lot of fun with that. I was like, wait a minute, I know this song. Why are they doing this?
It was a well done game.
But yeah, but you know, it's an Ubisoft game. So
yeah. So the demo kiosk didn't really give me a feeling of how well that second screen and the controller worked.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like there wasn't gameplay that used it, so maybe it just wasn't being responsive because of that. But touching it it seemed cheap.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, I don't know, I was fine with it. Like I just kind of brushed my hand and it allowed you to go through all the stuff that was on the big screen and the big screen would react. But, you know, rather than just going through that, I would have just clicked over the thumbstick or the D-pad.
Yeah, I wish we could have gotten our hands on ZombiU.
Yeah, if they had a playable demo of ZombiU, which it might just be, you know, too much for them to want to put in a kiosk at a store because there'd be little kids around and some people would get offended by it and whatever.
Or maybe the game's not
maybe there's just not a demo for it.
Yeah, they didn't build demo functionality into that. There's not a vertical slice. But so now this is interesting because we have a few minutes.
Yeah,
we've now. I wish we would have mentioned this before because we would have talked about this sooner. We've now both touched the Wii U.
Yeah, and
touched the Wii U.
That's bad.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's just I don't know. It's nothing about that what I've seen with it. And granted, all I've seen is the Rayman game.
We've seen before everyone's upset that we're Sony fanboys or Microsoft or PC fanboys or anything that's not a Nintendo fanboy. We've seen a very small portion of what is on the Wii U, and we've touched it very small amount of time. This is based on a very small.
This is our first impressions. Like this is the little teeny tiny bit of what.
And anyone that says that I hate Nintendo is wrong.
We love Nintendo. We did
an entire show how awesome the Super Nintendo was.
Exactly. But that was Nintendo in the 90s.
Well, yeah, but Super Mario Galaxy's good.
Mario Galaxy was great. I just
love
wish
that.
it was not 480i.
Well, I don't care about that, but
I do. I wish because I've seen HD like.
I do feel that Twilight Princess was way better than Skyward Sword.
But you could play Twilight Princess on the GameCube.
Whatever. But anyway, so what were your feeling like if you had $300 or $350?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna buy the 8 gig.
Yeah, that you can't install shit on. But $350.
If I had the money to drop on a Wii U, I'd probably go buy a Vita.
Oh.
But if I was forced to buy,
Andy's happy about that.
Yeah,
but
mostly because I get Liberation on the Vita, and I've already got it. I've already
So,
got my copy of Ask Creed 3.
So you have $350 to buy a thing for Christmas for yourself.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't buy a Wii U.
Probably not.
Just based on what you have seen.
Just based on what I've seen and the fact that most of the games that are coming out exclusively for it don't interest me. I like Mario games, but I don't want to play Super Mario Wii HD because that's what it looks like to me. And maybe it's different enough. Maybe it's different enough.
My feeling with that was, and this was when I walked. This is why we walked away disappointed from the demo kiosk. Because when I saw the demo kiosk, I was like, it's here! It's a real thing. They're actually going to release this. Holy crap!
It's not just the Nano. It's not vaporware.
It's not the Phantom. The thing that I didn't like about it was there were all these games that I was excited to see how the functionality works in the second screen, and then the demo that they had didn't use the second screen really well.
Yeah, no.
So it left me very unimpressed.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen maybe like the Darksiders 2 demo. Like I don't know how they're going to do that. Like if that's going to be your inventory management screen, if you can do that there, because on the PC version, which is the one I'm playing. You know, it's kind of a pain where you have to tab out, go into the menus, and then you have to use because I have an Xbox controller, so you have to use the shoulder and bumper buttons to scroll through the menu, and that kind of sucks.
Yes.
It would be nice if you would be able to just go, okay, this one. I want to use this side with these offhands and so on and so forth. And I know in, what is it, the Black Ops that's coming out for it? Yeah, the COD game that's coming out. You can play 2-player, and one person gets the big screen, and one person gets the little screen.
That's cool.
As long as you have another one of those, the Wii U Pro controllers, whatever it's called.
Another
the one that looks like an Xbox controller with the thumbstick moved.
Yes. But one of the things that I want to say, because we're all kind of running out of time, is we mentioned Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins.
Yeah.
Those two didn't look that different.
No, really.
Nothing wowed me. And the thing that really disappointed me, because the second screen is the selling point of this system.
It should be, yeah.
Is when I held that tablet and it was, I held it. It wasn't like bolted to the thing.
Well, yeah, but
it's fastened to it, but you can feel the weight of it and everything.
It wasn't really that heavy. I think most of the weight that I was getting was the corded, that cord that they
No.
had on
I'm just talking about like it felt cheap.
Yeah, it felt real cheap.
It felt like everyone thinks I'm a Sony fanboy, but the first Sony controller, the 6-axis, I remember taking it out of the box and holding it and going, "This feels like shit. This feels cheap." Mm-hmm. I like weight. There has to be something there. I understand there's reasons why that's bad. Like, you don't want a 10-pound controller in the hands of like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, we seriously don't need the Steel Battalion controller or whatever that was
but
that came out.
There's a difference between like being too heavy, being too light,
and being in that sweet spot where it's like
hitting that sweet spot, and just feeling cheap, feeling like it was made horribly.
Yeah. Well,
like,
the N64 controllers felt like that too.
I've snapped 2 controllers in my life. I snapped an original NES controller, and I've snapped a PlayStation 3 6-axis controller.
Okay.
Because I got to a point and I was like, yeah, and you clench, and then when I clenched,
you twist,
twist a bit and just snapped. The 6-axis controller did not come back. The Nintendo controller still worked though. Good on Nintendo.
Yeah. Well.
This felt like something that I was going to snap.
Yeah, and I don't know. I didn't mind it. My whole big thing was I could not figure out how to make the little screen come up, and play on that. But
but that's the thing. I felt like the game they chose to show off this second screen thing wasn't the best.
No.
But maybe it's the only game ready to show off that second screen.
Yeah, maybe it's the only thing that
we've
developers are allowing people to play on the system right now.
Yeah, we've talked before about how developers have to like conceptualize and think of a demo.
Yeah.
And maybe none of the Wii U people thought of a demo. Like,
or,
Nintendo doesn't release demos.
Or maybe since a lot of the games are ports, your demo is the other systems. If you really wanted to play it on those.
I didn't say that. Commenters, just so you know, that wasn't
that
me.
was all me. But because
people already hate me.
You've got Assassin's Creed, you've got Darksiders 2, you've got ports from other things. Like the Rayman game could have very easily just been made in the same engine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
with
actually,
different
I thought
graphics. So it's the Rayman game that's on the PS3 could have been exactly the same as the one on the Wii U, just with different things in it, different levels.
So earlier I asked Dave if he had $350, would he buy
a Wii U?
And he said no.
Probably not.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if I had $350,
you'd buy another Vita.
No, I wouldn't buy another Vita. Well, my wife might need one.
My wife might want one.
It would definitely give me someone to do Treasure Park with on Nier.
There you go.
That's the other. Next show, one of these shows, it's gonna be me on a soapbox just going off about everything I think is wrong with Sony products at the moment. Anyway, if I had $350, I wouldn't buy a Wii U.
No.
And if you came up to the street and said, Andy, you know a lot about video games, or I think you know
a lot.
I trust your opinion. Should I buy a Wii U this Christmas? I would tell you no.
Wait 6 months to a year. They'll probably have a price cut, or they'll come out with a new model that has more storage.
Yeah, something's going to happen. I feel like the same way I felt with the 3DS, the same way I felt with the Vita, now the same way I feel with the Wii U. I feel like these are all rushed to market and they're not ready to go.
I'm sure
there are things in them that are not ready for prime time.
Okay, I can see that.
So
I'm sure that the Wii U will come into its own.
Yes.
But it will come into its own after developers start really utilizing the second screen and making that a more unique experience rather than, hey, here's just tertiary information you don't need.
Yes,
like you can look up on a menu in the game.
I feel like it wasn't until even after the price cut on the 3DS, it wasn't until Super Mario Land 3D came out that I felt like people should buy a 3DS. Yeah. And if you came up to me and asked, Andy, I like Nintendo games, and I want portable, should I buy a 3DS? I would say yes. I used to just say you should probably go buy a DS.
The one thing with the Wii U that I was interested in, which was playing the games, the full screen games on the little screen.
They wouldn't let you do.
They would not allow me to do that. And I know it's a kiosk.
That's the demo.
It's a demo kiosk.
For those of you who watched our bonus video last time, it's a beta!
It's a beta. But still, that's the one selling point that's the one thing that I really like about that system that would make me want to buy that system specifically was, my wife wants to watch all her shows on the TV. Great.
On the TV.
On the TV. I could still play whatever it is I'm playing on the little screen, you know, even though it's lower res and it may not look as good, but that screen would look really good for what it was. I know.
Yeah.
For what it was,
maybe I'm just ruined by the
flimsy,
Vita.
as cheap as the controller feels, that screen looks really good, and I didn't have a lot of issues with the touch not responding.
Yeah.
Like the
Maybe it's
touching was
just that
fine.
I'm spoiled with the Vita, but I didn't think the screen looked that good. But then again, I have been looking at a OLED screen for the past couple months. But on the same thing, if someone asked me when the Vita came out, should they buy a Vita, I would have said no.
Waiting for some stuff to come out.
I would say
them to
wait
add
for
some
a game.
functionality to it.
If you asked me today if
you
you should
would.
buy a Vita, I would say you should, because there's games that are just about to come out or games that just have come out.
Yeah.
There's stuff for the system that you can play that are enjoyable. My feeling with the Wii U is by the time I go, yeah, you should buy a Wii U, Sony and Microsoft are going to have their next
They'll have their
consoles out, and it'll be overshadowed.
Well, yeah, because we're all kind of looking at E3 this year, and
Hopefully,
possibly at CES, Microsoft might do something.
Hopefully, Microsoft and Sony have been cooking the next consoles for a while, so when they actually come out, I don't feel like they're rushed to market.
Well, and
That's a hope.
Yeah.
Anyway, always you can get in touch with us in the comments, so please do. We don't always get back to you right away, but I do try to get back to people eventually. We don't answer every comment, but we answer a lot of them. Dave, any final thoughts on October, because our next show is going to be in November.
It's getting cold. I don't like it.
It is getting cold. It is getting cold in the Midwest.
I don't like the cold. Although it was really nice. Like, Wednesday it was like 80, and then it got to 40, and it was like...
It was like a flip, like a day. You were like,
welcome to the Midwest, guys.
Yeah.
Other than that, no. October has been October, and
yes,
it's been fine for me.
Yes. Final thought for me, just on a quick thing right here. I did play Medal of Honor this week, Medal of Honor Warfighter. I don't think you should pick it up. It is not as good as the first game. Anyway, don't forget to spay and neuter your Pokemon. We'll see you next week.